Hello and welcome to Bay 1, this is Familiarization, and today I'm going to be taking you through a short intro to Robocraft. This is likely to be in multiple segments, but I'm going to try and keep them at about 10 minutes each. So let's just log in. I've created a new account here. I did create this account a few days ago, so I've actually got a few more credits on it than I should have, but I haven't actually played on anything, so let's just load up. Okay, and this is where you start out. You actually start out with three different possible vehicles, and the camera controls are using WASD. You can use space to move up, shift to move the camera down. It takes a little bit of getting used to with those controls, but when you get used to it, it's relatively intuitive. Probably the first thing you're going to want to do before you actually mess with anything is press escape, go to settings, and adjust the resolution to whichever resolution you prefer. For myself, because I've actually got a good rig I'm running this on, I've got the settings on fantastic, but I'd actually recommend normal or good. They're both great for standard play. And also with chat language, you can see I've got all languages here. You'll want to set that to your actual language, so if you're in the US or the United Kingdom, English, naturally you've got all the other options there as well. Otherwise, there is a big foreign or Polish player base for this game, so if you like speaking to Polish people, that's great, but it's just to hold the whole communication thing. And you got the chat enabled feature here, which you can turn on or off. If you're doing video recordings, obviously you probably want to turn it off, but I'm actually going to leave it on for now. So anyway, yeah, this is my first vehicle. You've got the beeping in the background, which is actually the countdown timer for the next battle. You can see that in the middle of the top. I'll go through the key commands in just a second. So if I press G, that actually takes me to my garage. As you can see, by default you actually get 3 different slots, and these are filled. So you've got Bay 1, which that's a little wheeled vehicle. Bay 2, which this is a hovercraft. You can't rotate the screen or anything, which, you know, be useful if you could. Bay 3, you've got another little wheeled vehicle. So let's take a look at Bay 2. So that's a hovercraft. It's got a couple of little, well, 4 blades on it. That's what those things are. A couple of guns, a headlight, some windows, which the windows are actually more cosmetic features, and there you go, your pilot seat in the middle. 4 guns. Ah, there you go. So let's take a look at the last one. Okay, and this is another wheeled vehicle. Again, it's got 4 guns, a pilot seat, some windows and stuff. None of these are actually particularly great. They'll get you started, but you know, to be honest, from a starting standpoint, you'd probably want to deconstruct them all and make something that's actually useful. But let's go back to the first one, and I'll go through and play with each of these vehicles. But first things first, escape, so you can see the controls. Here we go. So Q is inventory, enter battle, cube shop, tech tree, garage, all of that kind of stuff. So let's go through those commands. So Q, that's inventory. This is where you actually get all your blocks from. So you got the chassis blocks, which are how you actually construct the overall structure. Movement, these are wheels, thrusters, hover blades. You've got hardware, which you got your starter cannons there, and special stuff, which your pilot seat, which is very important. Basically the concept of the game is once the block underneath your pilot seat gets destroyed, you're dead. So all of these blocks that surround your vehicle are more or less your hit points. Headlamps, which they're not really required, because there was a day and night cycle in the game, but you don't really need those. And you got radar, which they're useful for finding where enemies are or what direction they are. Personally, I don't use them that much, but I might step up to using them more often in higher tier matches, but to be honest, it's not something I really invest anything in. Here you've got the cube depot. This is where you actually buy more blocks. As you can see, you've got two different costs here. One which is RP, which is that green number there, which I've actually got 1500 more than I should have because I've had the account for 3 days, I just haven't logged in. And you've got GC, which is Galaxy Cash. This is the currency that you can buy to help support the game, and it's the block costs of these low tier things are relatively cheap, but it gets up to the point where you're paying about $1 for some of the high tier blocks, which it's, if you got the disposable income, that's fine. But to be honest, most people are going to spend the Galaxy Cash on premium time, which we'll get to when we get through the tiers, the options here. Got Tech Tree. This is something you earn from winning games or even losing games, and that's that little orange number there. And this is how you actually unlock better types of blocks. So this is what you have already. This is a specific type of block called an armor block, and it gives you an additional 20 armor, which that's generally is probably the first thing I'd recommend unlocking. You've got movement here, so you've got different types of wheels. Any wheel that's got a motor will actually exert a braking force, so it actually caps the top speed you can go. Just the pure steering wheels, they don't actually have a cap, so you're unlimited by speed. It's really by the types of thrusters you're using. Thrusters themselves, that's this line here, they go all the way up to tier 5, and you've got standard and S-types. And then you've got hover blades, which are what you use for making hover vehicles. Hover blades, again, they're like wheels, they exert a braking force, so you're actually capped at the top speed of the lowest tier blade that you've got. So some of these you can go, yeah, you've got the maximum thrust or the top speed, which is 12 miles per hour. Same with the wheels here. Dual drives, 14 miles per hour. So wheels, on balance, they actually go faster. But most of my early vehicles are actually hoverblade designs, because you can actually use them for ducking behind cover. Flying is something else. Let's go back to chassis or chassis blocks. You've got this helium tank block, which actually it's got a minus weight, so it's equivalent to about 1.5 blocks in terms of reducing the weight of your vehicle, and they're kind of important for a lot of flyers. It's possible to create flying vehicles without them, but it's actually quite hard. And hardware, you've got the two different tiers of laser. You've got top cannons and front laser cannons. Front cannons use less additional resources on your vehicle, which I'll get into that when we get into the more complex design. But for now, I'm going to actually go back to the, oh yeah, I was still going through the rest of the tabs here. Okay, you got the battle screen, which you got battle online, which is at the moment there's only the one option here, so that's just a randomly generated battle between you and people of your own level, or a group of people of your own level against one or a few high level characters, which they're called boss battles. They can be fun. And you've also got the practice option, which is good for testing out to see if your vehicle actually works. Here we've already been to the garage. You can buy additional slots using Galaxy Cash, and then you got the premium memberships, which, as you can see, premium membership provides you with 50% extra robot points, tech points, and more bonuses, and early access to features and new cubes during the membership period. And yeah, it's not actually that bad in terms of cost. You can go down as low as 1 day memberships, so yeah, it's relatively worthwhile. And then you've got the actual purchase options for Galaxy Cash. As you can see, they've actually got some good cheap options, like $3.50 for 3,000 cash, which, if you just want to unlock some slots, that's a really, really good option. So, but I'm actually going to leave it there for the intro on this part, and I'll be back in part 2 to show you some of the actual gameplay. Okay, thank you, and obviously feel free to subscribe, it's up in the corner there. Thank you.